You, but I come here for the love that I get every Sunday. And the treats. And the lesson. And today, really for the music. Welcome to Unity of London, whether you're here in the room or you're online watching us now or later on. We're so grateful that you're part of this service, because without you it wouldn't be the same. So each and every one of you, whether you're watching or sitting in the seats in front of me, we are very grateful for you. If you're here for the very first time, at the back of the table, at the back of the sanctuary, we do have a table for some little bit of literature about Unity of London, and we have a little blue slip of paper that if you fill that out and give us your name and your email address, we're happy to keep you posted on what's happening here at Unity of London. Because every Sunday, it's a surprise. And 99.999% of the time, it's awesome. We have room for growth. So we have a couple of announcements. Men's groups meetings will be at the Naughty Pine restaurant at 9 a.m. So Ken's running that. If you have, the next one is next Saturday. And if you have any questions about that, talk to the guy back there running the sound system. I just had a couple of great days with 45 of my favorite work people, and we had a lot of fun. So, but Ken will let you know all about the men's group and how that can bless you and your life. Today here at Unity, of course, as everybody knows, we have Paul Leftenegger. I had a hard time as a little girl with my name, Vanderbilt. Leftenegger. And which reminds me, I posted on Facebook that I was here at Unity and we were being blessed by Paul, so feel free to post on Facebook to let people know. And again, because this is being recorded, we can experience it over and over again. And then after you do that, or maybe even before you do that, double check to make sure your volume's down. Some people have lovely rings, but if your phone rings while Paul's playing music, or Katherine's speaking, kind of messes things up a little bit. And the next one would be that this month is October is membership month. It's November. Last month was membership month. So now, if you weren't here last week, and we have a membership form. We did a new form at our last town hall meeting. So if you filled out that form at the last town hall meeting, we take that as your new membership form. And if you remember on that, going forward, each year you'll be able to just initial it that, yes, I am making my commitment to my spiritual community one more for another year. If you have not done so, at the back of the room, Larry has a list, and we have membership forms, and please take care of that and get that into the office as soon as you possibly can. Next, our vision. Here at Unity of London, we have the same vision as almost all of the Unity centers worldwide. And there is power in people together affirming the good for each and every one of us and for all. So let's, with some just great gratitude and love, let's affirm our vision. A world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And our mission here at London, we've shortened it a wee bit, but with Spirit we are co-creating and transforming lives. Each Sunday, everybody here is just a wee nugget, and sometimes our lives are transformed a little bit, and sometimes it's in a great way. It's just, there's always growth when you're on the right path. And now with Jim, who's not here, but who did the recording, we're going to sing together on Wings of a Dove. Come on, stand up.
Snow white dove, Spirit is pure, sweet love, a sign from above. On the wings of a dove, when troubles surround us, and problems come, our bodies grow weak, and our spirits grow numb. Things beset us, Spirit doesn't forget us. Here and above, on the wings of a dove, on the wings of the snow white dove, Spirit is pure, sweet love, a sign from above. On the wings of a dove, be downhearted, feeling lost and alone. Still Spirit supports us, the foundation like stone. We are still cherished, and we are still loved. The message is carried on the wings of a dove. Snow white dove, Spirit is pure, sweet love, a sign from above. On the wings of a dove, Spirit is great, even when we are weak. We harvest its blessings, even more than we see. We're lavish with kindness, we're surrounded by love. Spirit proceeds on the wings of a dove, on the wings of the snow white dove. Spirit is pure, sweet love, a sign from above. On the wings of the dove, on the wings of the snow white dove, Spirit is pure, sweet love, a sign from above. On the wings of the dove, a sign from above. On the wings of the dove.
Good morning, friends. Unity's foundation is affirmative prayer. That means Unity defines prayer as the most highly accelerated mind action known. It is an affirmation of truth and a communion between you and all that is. Through prayer, the mind is renewed and circumstances transformed. If you wish prayer for someone else or for yourself, you're invited to use our prayer box here at the front table. Put a first name only on a piece of paper and place it in the box. There's no need to explain the situation, as Divine Mind is all-knowing. It will be prayed over here at Unity by our prayer angels for 30 days and then sent on to Silent Unity for additional prayer. And remember that 24 hours a day, you can call 1-800-NOW-PRAY, where Silent Unity has been praying with and for people for over 130 years. If you wish private one-on-one prayer today, or the sharing of healing energy, our prayer chaplain will be available in the prayer room today. Just go out the fellowship room, up the stairs, and down the hall. Just take a seat, and Pauline, who is our prayer chaplain today, will be with you. Please come forward and lead us in prayer.
I invite you to close your
Close your mind. Open your mind. Oh dear. I invite you to open your mind and close your eyes. In November, we hold in prayer Unity Church of Agape, Scarborough, Ontario. And I invite you now to reflect on the many communities in our community of London and throughout the world who are gathered today in prayer. We send our respect and our loving wishes to all of those communities. And from the Daily Word. I attune to the infinite peace and power of God, ever radiating from the center of my being, willingly serving as a beacon to enlighten the world. With steadfast faith, I stand for oneness, love, and harmony. As I do so, I inspire others to do the same. Together in spirit, I join with all people to bring perfect peace to this world. And sometimes we become so tuned out by the negativity that we forget our positive inner energy. And may we always remember that. May we always feel enfolded by the loving presence of a divine God, inspired by divine energy. I invite you now to whisper the names of anyone you wish to hold in prayer. And to all of our friends who are watching from far away, we send our loving, healing, if needed, prayers. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen.
And now for a message from our daily word for Sunday, November the 3rd. Healing. I let the life of God flow through me now, and I am healed. Divine life, the life of God, is always present everywhere. It is the energy that maintains my physical body in perfect balance. Even when I am ill or in pain, divine life is always active, always seeking more complete expression through me. When I feel the need for healing, I gently let go of any thought of illness and give my full attention to the energy of divine life within me. I bless my body and thank it for serving me. As I turn my attention inward and focus on the rhythm of my breath, I become aware of the vibrant energy of divine life, active everywhere in my body. I feel this life restoring me to my natural state of wholeness. I let the life of God flow through me now, and I am healed. Then your light shall break forth like the dawn, and your healing shall spring up quickly. Isaiah chapter 58, verse 8. It is now my privilege to introduce our special musical guest for today. Paul Luftnager is a gifted spiritual singer and songwriter. He composes conscious music to inspire global love and kindness from within. We have been honored by his presence and music in the past here at Unity of London, and we have gratitude in our hearts as we welcome him back. Please join me in welcoming Paul.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
Okay, so I'm going to sing a song called My Heart right now, and we'll just start with this. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth.
Put your hand on your heart. Yes, put your hand on your heart and say I love you. And close your eyes, feel your breath beneath that beautiful heart in your chest, and look inside of your soul. There is a love coming to life. I see your love as one love. I feel joyfulness of bliss in this. Oh, can you see your love flow? And your heart is leading to your stream. How it flows, it glistens, it goes, and shines and shine your sun. Shine your light and shine your soul. You see, you are a radiant starlight and raise your light. So put your hand on your beautiful heart. Yes, put your hand on your beautiful heart and say I love you. I love you. And close your eyes and feel your breath beneath that beautiful heart. You have such a beautiful heart. You have such a beautiful heart in your beautiful, in your beautiful shine.
And just take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Thank you.
Wow. I told you so. And now we're going to be blessed with our own Katherine Breau. Katherine, for those of you that don't know her very well, she is a very enthusiastic and committed member of Unity of London, who is always encouraging people to embrace their best life by learning that happiness comes from within. Catherine's passion to help people overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles in their lives comes from years of spiritual study and personal introspection. Katherine has experienced the depths of addiction, has overcome drastic financial loss, is a cancer survivor, as well as overcoming deep, long-term depression and PTSD. After an incredible spiritual experience that happened in 2017, Katherine has answered her calling to become a spiritual speaker and coach, specializing in coaching people to have a happy and productive sobriety. Katherine recently achieved her bachelor's in metaphysical science from the University of Sedona, Arizona, and plans to continue on until her doctorate is accomplished. Katherine facilitates a weekly class here at Unity of London named A Course of Love, and she warmly welcomes anyone who may be interested to attend. And if you have never had the chance to take some time and spend it with Katherine, I encourage you to do so. You will hear some wisdom, and you'll have lots of giggles as well. Let's give her a warm Unity of London welcome.
Oh, now I have to be funny. I'm not supposed to be funny, it's supposed to be serious.
Oh, joy's a serious topic.
Yeah, following your joy. Oh my gosh, I'm just popping out of my seams. I'm going to try hard to stay to my notes, but I don't know if I can. The subject matter that Rev. Lori chose for us today for me to speak about is Following Your Joy, and it's from a book by Louise Hay called Life Loves You. And Louise is a metaphysical lecturer and teacher for many, many years, has sold over 40 million books, so I'm sure there's no one in this room that's never heard of her. Louise lived her life in higher consciousness. Louise radiated love. And what we know to be true as members of Unity is that that's what attracted all those millions of people to her. They wanted to know more. You know, she was teased and she was belittled a bit by many because her message was so simple. So lots and lots of people have gone out there and tried to complicate the heck out of it. And I think that's what we have here with Unity as well. Our message is very simple and it's very direct. And that's what I'm going to try to be today. I'd like to take just a little detour right now to talk about the word life. Life loves you. Well, what does life mean to you? That's kind of a word we use a lot. You know, it's home life, it's married life, it's single life, it's dog's life, you know. I'd like to read to you what Charles Fillmore defines life as, the word life, in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary that he wrote. Life, that expression of being which manifests as animation, activity, and vigor. Life and substance are ideas in divine mind. Life is the acting principle, substance is the thing acted upon. In the phenomenal world, life is the energy that propels all forms to action. Life is not in itself intelligent. It requires the directive power of an entity that knows where and how to apply its force in order to get the best results. Life does not emanate from the mind. It is not a psychic or purely mental quality, nor does it spring from the physical. Life is divine, it's spiritual, and its source is God, or spirit. The river of life is within man in his spiritual consciousness. He comes into consciousness of the river of life through the quickening of spirit. He can be truly quickened with new life and vitalized in mind and body only by consciously contacting spirit. This contact is made through prayer, meditation, and good works. And Louise Hay did a lot of good works. think I missed a slide. This is Louise Hay's definition of life. Life is a lottery that we've already won, but most people just haven't cashed in their tickets. I love that. That's more my style. Charles is pretty wordy and pretty deep. I like this style. So Louise calls her spiritual source her inner ding. Ding. That's what she calls source. You might call it the wee small voice. You might call it your intuition. She says all her success came from listening to her inner ding and saying, yes. She didn't question it. She said yes. She humbly tells her story of her first book. Oh, where did I put it, Sylvia? Well, this is you can tell it's kind of an old book. This was Louise's very first listing of Heal Your Body, which she is renowned for. And somebody said to her one day, you need to take that and write a book. And she said, yes. She said, I had no idea how to publish, no idea how to edit, and not sure how to write a book. And the help she needed just came in from everywhere. She just said yes. And she called it her little adventure. Well, that little adventure turned into a revolution in self-help publishing. And I'm sure you've all heard of Hay House Publishing. And then just to follow along with the simplicity of Louise, she said one of the biggest or most popular questions she was ever asked was, how did you ever start Hay House Publishing? She said, well, I answered the phone and I opened the mail. If you've ever owned your own business, you know that's the truth. Pretty simple. Just start. She says saying yes is saying yes to joy. It's a sacred yes. I love that YMCA song. I feel like that. Saying yes is being present in your life. Saying yes isn't about going somewhere or making the right decisions. It's about being authentic. It's about being willing to be led. And it's about looking in that mirror and liking what you see. How many of us do that? Louise teaches that as you get clearer and clearer about the sacred yeses in your life, you experience a sense of empowerment and grace that just creates this wonderful life and you just feel so blessed. She says it also helps when you learn to the authentic word, also a short word, is no. Ding. Yes. No ding? No. No explanation needed. You stand in the power of your ding. I love that. Louise goes on to teach saying yes is really about meeting that deepest part of you. It's about saying yes to your beauty, to your creativity, and to your soul nature. The nature of your soul is to be in joy. This is what you have to be faithful to, says Louise. This is the true work of your life. This is loving yourself. Everybody's searching for, how do I learn to love me? What do I have to study? What next? What workshop? Just say yes to your ding. Louise's story about giving talks kind of follows a similar pattern of her book. She said the first time she was asked, would you consider giving a talk? She said, yes. She said, I had no idea what I was going to say or what was going to come of it. But the moment I said yes, pretend I'm Louise talking to you. The moment I said yes, I felt totally led and guided. So that talk turned into many talks. Those talks turned into workshops. Those workshops turned into hay rides. And several of the gay men in the workshops came to her after a hayride one night and said, would you be willing to start a group for people with AIDS? She said, yes. She didn't know what that was going to look like. She had no idea what that was going to turn out. She didn't target being on the Oprah Winfrey show as a result of this, or the Phil Donahue show. That wasn't in her heart. She just followed her heart. She taught thousands of AIDS patients to find peace. By learning how to love themselves for who they are, and then by learning how to love those people who could not love them. Read that in. We talk about love all the time. This is love in action. Saying yes is having an open mind. The sacred yes is about dropping your fear, dropping your unworthiness, your cynicism, your psychology, your whatever standing in your way, and allowing your soul to speak to you, and hearing it and listening. The sacred yes is surrender. Louise states, ever since I put my foot in that church of religious science, I haven't had anything to do with my life. It's just kind of moved along. She was just led. She's been guided all the way. I have followed her for many years, and I know this to be true. Now, I want you to know I didn't really come here to give you a lesson from self-help. That's not the message today. I'm tying this together with what we know to be the truth in unity, because that's why we keep coming. We keep coming to strengthen our faith. Oh, sorry, I was supposed to push that. There's Louise with the fellows in AIDS. She has some beautiful videos if you ever wanted to watch them on YouTube. So what I'd like to do is I'd like for us to just look at a basic outline that I did of how Louise lived in self-love. Like, how did she do that? This is what we want to know in unity. How do you actually do this? We know everything. We study it all the time. We come to workshops with blah, blah, blah. We've read the books and blah, blah, blah. But when does it sink in? When does it happen? How did Louise do it? Well, first, she fell in love with the New Thought movement, which now is probably 130 years old. We might need to change it, middle-aged movement. She changed her thinking, and she changed her actions. She absolutely did not allow negative thoughts to enter. They entered, but she'd say, oh no, out you go. And she replaced it with a good thought. She chose to love life. She didn't complain about her life. She chose to trust that all is well in the universe and in her life. Wow, wouldn't that be nice to not have your conversation be about the news today? Did you hear what happened? Oh my God, that happened 10 years ago too. Until I don't watch the news. She allowed herself to be led. You know, a lot of training I've had is about how to be a good leader. So I get a little confused in some of this stuff, like what does this really mean? Well, keep coming. And she transitioned in 2017 in peace. She lived what she taught. She walked her walk. She radiated love. And even though I never met her, I felt like her friend. I felt like I really knew her. More importantly, I felt like she really knew me. She did not come from an easy background. She never sought adoration or fame. She wasn't discouraged by her criticism. She never considered herself a miracle worker. She just loved helping people. Reviewing her life brought other people to mind who also discovered their truth and became passionate about helping other people, like about Lady Diana. And my favorite example, Marianne Williamson, about Martin Luther King, or James Dillard Freeman, a very renowned Unity gentleman. Let's read what he says about love. For above all, love is sharing. Love is a power. Love is a change that takes place in our own heart. Sometimes it may change others, but it always changes us. So true. My changes can affect other people. And how about Charles and Myrtle Fillmore? I mean, what greater examples do we have of people who answered their ding? Of course, Myrtle did first, but Charles followed. So let's see what Charles says about love. I'll just read this still. It is the law of spirit that we must be that which we would draw to us. If we would draw to us love, we must be love, be loving and kind. If we would have peace and harmony in our environment, we must establish it within ourselves. Makes sense. And then my girl Myrtle, I love Myrtle because she's so direct. She says, well, since two or more gathered together have the tremendous power that Jesus promised, what power would be released if thousands could be united in speaking one thought? What vision she had in the late 1800s, early 1900s. She just saw the hugeness of all of this. And you know, everybody we're talking about were just ordinary, everyday people. They didn't come to this world with a silver spoon in their mouth, with the exception of maybe Marianne Williamson. She was in a pretty affluent family, but everybody else, just like you and me, this came from that start. So Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, they said yes. They definitely demonstrated being led, and they definitely demonstrated living in higher consciousness. They didn't always have it easy financially. If you read Myrtle's writings, you'll find out that there was many times where the money was low and the faith was strong. She never, ever worried about that kind of stuff. And there's a wonderful quote here from Charles that I love about how he was able to do what lay before him and by being and feeling led. And I quote, I refuse to be anxious about tomorrow or even the next minute. I know that God does provide for the fulfillment of his divine idea, and I am that divine idea. Isn't that beautiful? I am God's divine idea. Thank you, Charles. They were tireless servants, and they also never sought recognition or fame, even though they ended up being cherished and recognized globally. They truly lived in higher consciousness because they believed that all things were possible in connection to spirit. So we've had many, many people, many examples who heard their ding and said yes, and they followed their joy. We're so blessed to have one more beautiful example here with us today. Paul Luftenegger, my dear friend. He answered his ding at the darkest, worst time of his life, but he couldn't ignore it. And Paul said, yes. And he's been led, he's been guided, and he's been so richly blessed. We're so grateful to have you here today, Paul, and for your example. Now there's one more name that comes to mind for me. Just an ordinary guy. He had lots of trials and tribulations in his life too. And then he decided to go and spend 40 days and 40 nights in the wilderness of self-discovery. And as a result of that, he said, yes. Of course, I'm talking about Jesus. I'm talking talking about Jesus makes you uncomfortable, just keep coming. Unity bases its truths, not your truth or my truth, the truth, on the teachings of Jesus, the way shower, the child of God. He never sought fame or fortune either. But boy, did he have an impact on the world. Wow. He never wanted to be revered. He wanted to share his message of life by love, actions of love. And that is the only power he ever wielded, was love. He never wanted his message to be misconstrued. His message, too, was very simple. Love. He wants us to emulate his life, not put him on a pedestal as a separate entity. He wants us to experience life in unity. And here we are, in unity. And what does that mean? Oneness. All one. No separateness. Sounds like a big request, but it's so simple. So before I close, I'd like to share a few words from the Course of Love, because this has helped with my transformation just amazingly. And if you're comfortable, I'd like you to close your eyes and visualize Jesus just either sitting at a table with you in Starbucks or on a park bench in nature, or just walking along holding your hand. And even though I don't have a male voice, I'd like you to just imagine that this is Jesus speaking directly to you. I fulfilled my story, my pattern, the idea of me that came from the thought of God. In doing so, I restored unity, oneness with God. I ushered in the new way that you are now longing to adopt. This is the invitation to greet your higher self and to find your higher self within this day. It requires no new plans. It asks not that you make any decisions. It asks not that you do anything new. This is an invitation from love to love. It asks only that you be unoccupied with the old so that the new may arrive. It asks only that you listen to your heart and let your higher self be heard. I cannot tell you here and what you will hear. How can I when each of you will hear the answer of your heart? The calling of love to love in violet. The answer that only you can hear. There is no mold, no form, no stock answer. This is why all answers have disappointed you in the past. Your answer is not the same as any other. No matter how filled with wisdom one person's answer may be, it is not yours. You are a thought of a God, an idea. This thought or idea is what you seek. It can be found only at its source. Its source is love, and its location is your own heart. And Jesus speaks. So let's scroll through some faces of people who said yes to their name. Now look around you. In this very room, look at all the Jesus examples in this very room. You don't have to do anything the same as anyone else. Just choose love. Just choose life. Just choose to love your life and to let life love you. Follow your joy. Let's take this into meditation.
Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel its mighty power and its grace. I can hear the brush of angel wings, see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place. Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel its mighty power and its grace. I can hear the brush of angel wings, see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place.
Oh, beautiful Spirit. We are so grateful for this time together. For this time of messages of simplicity, messages of love, messages of healing. Breathe in the love in this room right now. It's palpable. This was the purpose of Jesus. This was the purpose of Louise Hay. This was the purpose of Lady Di. This is my purpose. This is your purpose. No longer do we need to search for our purpose. We ask that in this day, all healing that needs to take place to allow our inner ding, the vibration and the acknowledgement that we deserve to give it. May we say yes. And may we ask to stay out of the planning of what that will look like. Because the only thing we could do is limit ourselves. The greatness of the love that's available to each and every one of us is limitless. All things are possible in connection to Spirit. Let's just say that as a little chant as we spend some time in silence to allow that to move through our bodies from the top of our head to the tip of our toes. All things are possible with connection to spirit. Silence. We thank you for life. We thank you for love. We thank you for simplicity. So we let it be. And so it is. Amen.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah,
Catherine, thank you so much for sharing your ding with us today so that we can better connect with our ding and be love and joy. Thank you. It is now time for giving and receiving your tithes and offerings. Our unity principles teach us that we are one with divine source, so that we give not to source, but as source. Giving has been described as a spiritual practice of radical generosity, giving to what we wish to see flourish. Giving puts us in the flow of divine abundance. By the back door of the sanctuary on the wall, you'll find intention cards. These too may be placed in the offering bag. This week, our prayer angels will uphold your intentions for what you wish to achieve, either as a plan for your day or for your life. Now, let us affirm our prosperity together by singing our offertory blessing.
Blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is.
We are blessed. So I handed out a prosperity affirmation or prayer. And I did this because a few of us recently were chatting about all the great things that we want to do here at Unity of London. And much of it can be done with time and talent, but so much of it needs treasures. And as we teach properly, we believe, here at Unity of London, and you open up to the awareness of really who you are and where your source is, we believe that not only does your joy grow, but so does your prosperity. And we look for tremendous prosperity for Unity of London so that we can truly transform lives and bless. So as we bless these gifts and tithes and offerings that are given today, I invite you to together, let's affirm, and you're welcome to take this home with you. And when you read it on your own, you can say we, you can say I. Just envision everything expanding for all of us. We dwell in the midst of infinite abundance. The abundance of God is our infinite source. The river of life never stops flowing. It flows through us into lavish expression. Good comes to us through unexpected ways, and God works in myriad ways to bless us. We now open our minds to receive our good. With God as our source, nothing is too good to be true. Nothing is too wonderful to happen. We give freely and fearlessly into life, and life gives back to us with a boundless increase. Blessings come in divine, expected, and unexpected ways, and we are grateful. Thank you, God. Amen. Let's sing.
Peace on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let's walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me, let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me.
So as you go about your week, ding! Yes! And our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds me, I am light. The love of God enfolds me, I am love. The power of God protects me, I am power. The presence of God watches over me, I am presence. Wherever I am, God is, I am divine. Yea, God.
Spread the word of what unity can offer. Spread the word of the message that you heard. Spread the word of what it means in your life. Spread the word, spread the word, spread the word. Spread the word of all the things we shared this morning. Spread the word. When you're surrounded here by love, spread the word. And our doors and hearts are open. Spread the word, spread the word, spread the word. Spread the word. To anyone who's lost and lonely, spread the word. When we extend the hand of love, spread the word. Spirit welcomes all to join us. Spread the word, spread the word, spread the word. Spread the word. Of what unity can offer, spread the word. When we believe in peace and love, spread the the word.